Tellico Village Broadcasting presents Tellico Village Naturally. Join us as we explore the interesting wildlife and nature's beauty that surround us here in Tellico Village. Now, here's your host, Keith Sanderson.
Welcome to Tellico Village Naturally, the Tellico Village Broadcasting program where we explore the natural side of Tennessee, or East Tennessee, in and around Tellico Village. I'm your host, Keith Sanderson, and our guest today is Tellico Village resident Roy Morrill. Many of us think of Roy as the resident astronomer in Tellico Village, which he is. He even has his own observatory. But what Roy is going to do with us today is he's going to share some insight about the upcoming solar eclipse that will be passing through and over Tellico Village. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Roy. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, indeed, it's certainly an opportunity that I appreciate, and being able to share the knowledge of the upcoming eclipse with the Tellico villagers, because it's quite a unique opportunity, and we're going to take advantage of it to make sure that we indeed are there to see it.
Well, that's great. Now, the first thing, I hear every time I turn around, it seems I see in the news every couple of years there's an eclipse, right. But then I'm told that they're rare. So which is it? Are solar eclipses rare or not?
Well, they are rare for any given spot on the surface of the Earth. They're very rare. If we want to see another total eclipse from Tellico Village, we'd have to stand here for the next 360 years. That's when the next one would occur, theoretically. But for any place on the Earth, there is a total solar eclipse about every 16 months somewhere on Earth. But still, that's rare because you got to be there to see it. You have to go to some strange places like Antarctica or Australia, South Pacific, and places like that to see those eclipses. And eclipse chasers do that all the time.
And you're an eclipse chaser. You were at the one in the Coral Sea?
Yeah, the Coral Sea, which is actually the only total eclipse I've ever seen. And we had to go essentially to Australia to see it. Got on a ship and rode around the Coral Sea and got to witness a total eclipse there. Quite an experience.
Now, there's solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, and can you tell us just what a solar eclipse is and how it works?
Well, yeah, sure, I can do that. The solar eclipse is the one that's quite rare, indeed, as we talked about earlier. Lunar eclipses occur more frequently. The solar eclipse will occur when the moon, the earth, and the sun are all in a perfect alignment in the same plane, rotational plane. And that happens only when there's a new moon. And so you say, well, why don't we have an eclipse at every new moon? Well, we don't, because the alignment is not that perfect. There's a few degrees tilt in it, so it occurs rarely. And when the moon and the sun are in perfect alignment, the moon casts a shadow on the surface of the Earth. Now that dot, as it moves across the Earth, is a path of totality. And that's what's going to happen right here. The center line of the eclipse is actually a few miles south. It passes over Athens and Sweetwater, but we're so very close to it, it's going to be an absolute totality here.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, the eclipse is August 21st, and I understand it'll cut a swath across the United States from west to east. Does that mean everyone will see a total eclipse?
No, it does not mean that. But everyone in North America will see at least a partial eclipse. That is, the sun will be partially blocked by the moon. Only the people on the path of totality, which is that strip that's 70 miles wide, comes ashore in Oregon and moves across North America and exits at Charleston, South Carolina. It takes about 2 hours to make that trip. But if you're not in that path, you won't see a total eclipse. If you're off the path some, you will see a partial eclipse.
That's interesting. Now, so if I'm here in Tellico, because I heard some people say, well, Sweetwater's going to have a total eclipse, but we're not. But we are, right?
That's correct.
Is it going to be lights out?
No, no, it's not lights out. It gets so dark and dim, it looks like dusk or twilight. Some of the birds will start trying to go to roost. You can see some stars and planets, but it's not totally dark. Sweetwater is on the central line, So they will have the longest period of totality, which is 2 minutes and 40 seconds for them. I believe that's it. 2 minutes 37 seconds. For us, it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds here, because we're not exactly on the center line of the eclipse. So I would say Sweetwater's a little drive down the road, but trying to get down there on the eclipse day would not be a very good idea, because it's going to be so crowded. Even though they're going to give everybody that shows up down there a moon pie, I would still try to avoid it and go buy our moon pies here and have them on our own.
So if I'm a Tellico Village resident, then and I'm talking to either friends or family about this, and if I want to suggest to them that there's really a unique reason to come down and visit us, would that be it?
This is it, because you, particularly people, depending on where you live along the eclipse path, but in the east, this is the place to be, right here. And I would tell them to come on down here and take advantage of this unique opportunity that we have. It's one of nature's greatest spectacles. There's not much that compares with it, and you've got to see it. Do whatever you need to do to make sure you see it.
Now, I understand the Kiwanis Club is going to have an event. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they've taken an initiative some time ago to reserve the Tokwa Pavilion and the Tokwa Restaurant out there and sell tickets to their event, which they're going to have barbecue and music and make it quite a little party and an outdoor picnic. And they are going to have people there to watch the eclipse. And I'm not sure, I drove over there a time or two exactly where the viewing area is going to be, but they do have an entire golf course they could use down there somewhere. But I would, that's going to be that's a nice thing for them to do. It's a good fundraiser.
Well, that's great. Now, I've heard a whole bunch of different things about how I can observe it, and some people have told me I can use sunglasses to look at the eclipse. Are they right?
No, I've heard that too, and people, you couldn't take your sunglasses out now and look directly at the sun. You'd have tremendous eye damage, and it will happen. You have to use special glasses that everyone's probably heard about by now, and they look like this.
Here, I'll put them on.
You put them on.
Yeah.
Keith's got shiny, reflective eyes now.
Wow.
It's absolutely dark.
I can't see a thing. I can't believe. Wow. I can just barely see the light behind me.
These things block 99.999% of all light coming in, and will protect your eyes. If you just use ordinary sunglasses, the infrared and ultraviolet light will penetrate that and will burn your retina, and it's not repairable. It's there, it's permanent. So this is the way to do it. These are cheap. They're on the internet, Amazon and other places. They cost probably 75 cents to $1 when you buy a pack of 25 of them. So everybody should have these.
So, and someplace else in Tellico Village that'd be a good place would be out on the lake.
Oh yeah. I would do. That's a great viewing point. If you happen to go out and have a raft off of something out there, put on a lot of sunscreen, and bring a few bubbly things and cold things to take, but go out there and enjoy, because you would have a tremendous view there.
But make sure that you have a supply of these for your guests, just in case they don't bring them, because you wouldn't want to have an injury. Go ahead.
I would take these. I think are still available. Amazon's a good way to do it, because you get it in a couple of days from them. And if you round up your neighbors, they don't have glasses, buy a pack of 50 of these things. They cost about 75 cents each. And that's the thing to do, and give it to all. That's what we're doing out in Morocco. I've got it off all the neighbors out there, and they're looking forward to it.
Now, what if I want to look at the eclipse with binoculars or telescope, or maybe I'm a photographer? Are there special lenses I can use?
They're definitely there. If you look at get these before the eclipse and go look at the sun and practice with it a little bit, and you'll see how small the image of the sun is. It's less than a ½ inch in here. You think the sun would be larger than that, but it isn't. The sun's actually the same parent diameter as the moon. except it's 400 times in actual diameter, but it's 400 times further away from us too. So the thing to do, go practice and see. You can see what it would look like in here. But if most everybody has 10 by 50 binoculars, and these are some filters you can buy. Just slip on the edge of there.
Oh, wow.
And then you can stare directly at the sun. You get 10 times magnification.
Look at that.
Pretty neat. Or you can hold this up too and use it instead of eclipse glasses.
And they just slip
they
right
slide
on.
on there with some foam rubber. These are actually $20 each for these filters in there, but it's really worth it because now you have 10 times magnification of the sun, and the image is really much nicer. I would take these, lie back in a lounge chair on your deck or out in the yard or on the boat and hold them steady. If you don't want to do that, it's easy to mount these on a camera tripod too, so it's real steady. That's what I would do and go from there.
What about a camera?
Cameras, everyone, the veteran eclipse chasers tell me that don't get lost in trying to make a picture of the moon, of the sun, of the eclipse, because you'll miss it. Because it's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds of totality. But practice the day before, and the same filter snugs over this 300 millimeter lens from Canon and gives a nice image. But this has to be tripod mounted for the most part. Even though you use very fast shutter speed, you still need the tripod mounted, but get by without it. But I would give it a try. Practice before the eclipse day, before you get out there and try that. So.
Now, when the eclipse does come, I understand there's certain things that we look for, like Bailey's bead and the diamond ring. Can you tell us what those things are?
Those are things, and the corona. Those are 3 things you can only see during a total eclipse. And you really do need some magnification for Bailey's beads and the corona. What that really is that you'll see when the moon is directly in front of the sun, and it's just beginning to move off a little bit or hadn't gotten totally covered the sun, you'll see some sparkly little things along the edge, along the circumference of the eclipse sun. Those are called Bailey's beads, and what it really is, it really means that the sun is shining through the mountain and peak valleys on the moon.
That's remarkable.
And so you get to see, they don't believe that, but it really is true. Because you're looking at the circumference of the moon, the edge of it, and it has peaks and valleys on it, and you see the sun shining through those valleys. That's Bailey's beads. Now the diamond ring is an effect that occurs right when the sun is moving off the moon is moving off the sun, and that first little peak on the edge where the sun is shining directly at you again. Now it just blossoms out, and the rest of the sun is dark, and that's the diamond ring. It looks like a really little diamond ring up there. So it's rather neat too. And you can see that. You can see those 2 things with binoculars, and you can probably see the diamond ring just with the glasses here. The other thing to note here is that you can take your glasses off and the filters off the binoculars during totality. But you got to be really careful and just watch and make sure you don't stare at the sun when it's exposed. But during totality, just look around. You can see birds trying to roost, and you can see, the raccoons come to raid your bird feeder and all that stuff. What might happen, but it's only 2 minutes of it. But it's a great experience to see the darkness at that point.
And what's the corona?
Okay, yeah, the corona you can see actually with glasses. It's a very large structure, but it's very dim. And it means what the corona is, the sun is always emitting charged particles. Our sun is very active. It's material being emitted and ejected from the sun at all times. And when that happens, they pass into the magnetic field of the sun, these particles do, and they go out as streamers. They follow the magnetic field of the sun like that. And it's a little glowing area, and when you look at some of the pictures that we have, you can see that it really just spikes out. It looks like a little fireworks, but sort of dim. So make sure you take a look at that. You can see that easily with the glasses. or maybe during totality, you take the glasses off too, and take a look at it in the binoculars. But put them back on before the moon moves out from the sun. Now the coronas, like I told people that in little talks I've given around here, it's difficult to see, but here on Earth we can find them all the time. It's in a 6-pack down at the grocery store, so you can always find them there.
So it's true. You can have a corona while you see a corona.
That's exactly right. You can have, and you know, we'll talk about the weather here in a minute, but if it's cloudy, you can still see the corona just by popping the top on the bottle and sitting back and relaxing a little bit. So,
speaking of that, what are the 3 most important factors to seeing the eclipse?
Okay, factor number 1 is weather. Factor number 2 is weather. Factor number 3 is location. But I say weather, you can't emphasize it. We'll talk about it a little more here. But the closer you get to the center line, the longer the eclipse is going to be. There are people coming from all over the world for this. They booked up. I called the hotel down here the other day, down here on I-75, to La Quinta, I think it was, and I asked them about. They said, "Well, it's reserved and everything's booked up for that." And I said, "Well, just tell me what did you charge? It's 2-day minimum and $160 a night, and they're booked out."
Wow! So that would mean if you do have friends or relatives coming down, you better plan on them staying at your house.
At your house, yeah.
Because they probably. How far away would they have to stay, do you think, to find a room?
Well, I think you can be. You know, it's only 70 miles wide. So you can go up and stay. You can stay in Chattanooga. Chattanooga, by the way, and Knoxville are not in the eclipse. They're not going to see totality. They'll see a big, deep partial. But you can drive to Chattanooga, stay down there, and run up 75 to get to Athens and get off there. I went down to the baseball fields and all right there off the interstate will probably be packed. But I would advise leaving early that morning to get up here because the interstate may be a parking lot, too.
Wow.
It's a possibility.
Now, what are the odds of good weather occurring?
30%. That's the thing that blows you away. You know, in August, and we have clouds a lot around here, and the odds of being clear is 30%. And the odds of being cloudy, of course, 60-something. So you got to prepare for it. And what I advise people to do, if you want to travel, if you really want to see it, like I'm going to do everything I can to see it, have your car packed, watch the weather 2 days out. You get several sources of weather, and look at the weather to the west and see what's going on out there. If it looks like it's going to be cloudy here, you know, and it's going to be clear in Nashville, then get in the car the day before the eclipse, early the day before the eclipse, and go. You know, but you know, Nashville, I don't think it's got so many hotel rooms. I'm not sure it's booked, but what's there are probably expensive. But you know, I told my wife, get her to go with me. I said, look, if we get up there and we can't find a place to sleep, we can sleep in a Walmart parking lot, because I've done it 2-3 times before on astronomy things. It's a little rough the next morning when you get up, but you know, but it can be done.
And I understand what Nashville is the largest city the eclipse is passing through?
That's right, it is. There's 10 or so million people going to see this eclipse. The largest ever largest ever watched eclipse. And Nashville is actually right on the center line, a little off, a little south of it. 1.8 million people there in Nashville and Davidson County, and that's a good place. But they got all these tours and all set up now that have been going, booking people in Music City and Jack Daniels and an eclipse all in one tour. And so that's going to be maybe a problem too, but I don't know. Wow. My brother-in-law lives there. I'm going to go visit him. I've already told him I'm going to be there if it looks like it's going to be clear up there.
Well, that's interesting. And again, a couple things to remember. Protect your eyes. Have fun. You know, this is a one-time event. So, Roy, I want to thank you for joining us today. You know,
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
It's been fun. And I want our viewers, I want to thank them for joining us too, because Tellico Village naturally shares what's going to happen here at Tellico Village, and in this case, it's really unique. I'm your host, Keith Sanderson, thanking you for watching us and asking you and inviting you to watch our next episode, which will have Tellico villager Chuck Cruikshank with Bluebird Tales and Trails. And until then, so long.